And here is the Writer's Almanac for Saturday. It's the 30th of April, 2022. It's the birthday of Annie Dillard, born Pittsburgh, 1945, author of Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. The short story writer Josip Novakovic, born in Croatia in 1956, grew up there, came to the United States as a young man, written several books in English, including the memoir Apricots from Chernobyl. The poet John Crowe Ransom, born in Pulaski, Tennessee, 1888, a founder of the Kenyon Review, and for many years one of the most important literary critics in America. It's the birthday of an American poet famous for having fallen into obscurity, Winfield Townley Scott, born in Haverhill, Massachusetts, 1910. Lived in Providence, Rhode Island, and then in Santa Fe. Wrote a long poetic narrative about Leif Erikson's crazy half-sister called Dark Sister. Wrote a number of poems considered masterpieces when they were published, including Mr. Whittier. William Carlos Williams was a great admirer of Winfield Townley Scott. But he faded into obscurity, due in some part to bourbon and to the use of sedatives. He died of an overdose of sleeping pills 2 days before his 58th birthday, but also because he was still writing in traditional forms, writing long, poetic, heroic narratives and sonnets when those were no longer fashionable. It's the birthday of Alice B. Toklas, born in San Francisco, 1877. She was in Paris in 1907 when she met Gertrude Stein. They became lovers, and they moved in together at number 27 Rue de Fleurs, where they began a salon that became a social hub for all kinds of artists and young writers, Matisse and Picasso, Hemingway and Fitzgerald. In 1933, the autobiography of Alice B. Toklas came out, which was written entirely by Gertrude Stein. Though after Stein's death, Toklas wrote her own memoir called What is Remembered, in which she said, Gertrude Stein held my complete attention, as she did for all the many years I knew her until her death, and all these empty ones since then. Here's a poem for today by Joyce Sutphin, entitled Feeding the New Calf. The torso comes out slick and black after hoofs that are yellowed like smoker's teeth, the back 2 legs crossed over each other, and the head last, bunched over front legs. Minutes later, he is standing wobbly, and the blunt mouth is sucking at my arm, tongue rough as sandpaper, tickling along my skin, ripping up the fine hair over my wrist. I tie him with a rope of baling twine, shake out a chunk of straw around him as the dust rises in the sunlit aisle. I pet the wet coat that curls over his sharp backbone, scratch ears that are thick as tulip leaves, bent in the womb, Angus baby. I think of the blue-gray afterbirth, like a shawl he wore, now left in the gutter, of his mother, how she groaned him out of her belly, her back rocking back and forth in the metal stanchion, the velvet fold of her throat on the cold cement. After I pour the milk into a pail, I go to where he is lunging on the rope, where he is singing a desperate duet with his mother, din of soulful mooing. I get him to suck at the nipple, pulling his mouth over to it with my hands dipped in his mother's milk, my small, solid fingers, and not her warm udders, no peach-veined bag to sink his cheek on. The clouds sunk in his large brown eyes float blue. He nudges me hard. Feeding the New Calf, a poem by Joyce Sutphin. That's the Writer's Almanac for Saturday, April the 30th. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.